Hi everyone, Tam's here. A year ago this month, I decided to embark on a year-long sabbatical after losing a job at the age of 52. Now, I have enjoyed this sabbatical immensely, and I thought I'd share with you all the things I've learned, any tips and advice that you may want if you are interested in taking some time off in midlife. If you are new to my channel, I typically make content that encourages a well-lived creative life, but today's video is a little bit different and it's probably going to be long and chatty. So get comfortable and let me start sharing with you all that I've learned. Okay, the very first thing that I would recommend if you are even considering taking some time off is to dream. Okay, I want you to sit down and dream. I did that. I had always dreamt about what it would be like to take a significant period of time off, like a long vacation. I didn't necessarily think about it as a year, but I always kind of thought about what it would be like to take 6 months to a year off for a sabbatical. So I would dream, and I made a huge list of everything I have always wanted to do. And I encourage you to do that because once you make the list, you'll pull out some themes and you'll have a better idea of what you really want to do. There's probably going to be one big thing. A lot of people want to travel the world, or they want to write a book, or they want to do some big thing. I really wanted to focus on my health, and in fact, I have made a video, and I will link it below. I've made a video on just my wellness year-long transformation if you're interested in that. But that was my big thing. That was the big thing that stood out. I had been lucky to have traveled a lot already, so I did have some travel on there, but not anything. I didn't need to travel the world. So making that list and dreaming kind of helps you filter down and really get into what is it that you really want, and do you just need a month off or 3 months, or it kind of gives you some guidance on what you would really need. Okay, the second tip I would share with you is you've got a plan. I did not just on a whim decide to take a sabbatical after losing my job. I had been planning this for a long time, just in case something happened. You know, life happens, jobs don't last, we get tired of what we're doing, we want to change. And I just knew that when my last or my former job ended, for whatever reason, I wanted to take some time off to refresh myself to be ready for that next era, as we now say, that next era of my life. And I wanted to be refreshed and renewed and restored to be able to tackle that. So I started planning actually a year before this all happened. Now, I'm going to share with you that I was already in a good place before I even started planning. I have always had an emergency fund. I had all my debt paid off except for my home. And so what I did after that is I met with my financial advisor. I shared with her what I was thinking about, and we started talking about some things. So when you're planning, definitely include several people as you're thinking about this. I would definitely include my financial advisor. I would definitely include my family and close friends to let them know what you're thinking about doing and how it may impact them. And hopefully you're like me and everyone will be incredibly supportive and encourage you. So here's what I learned in the planning part. So I have always believed in having an emergency fund, and that can be whatever you feel comfortable with. Now, I believed that I needed to have at least 6 months of emergency fund. An emergency fund is the amount of money it would take to pay all your necessary bills. So that means your mortgage, your electricity, your groceries, your internet, anything just to pay the bills. You need to find out how much that costs every month. That's no extra. And I've always believed in having at least 6 months of that stored away. So what I decided to do before I embarked on this journey is I built that up to even more. So I built that up to be a 12-month emergency fund just to pay the bills. Now, you are going to need more than that if you want to take an intentional sabbatical. So I also built up a little travel fund, and I built up a backup fund for all of life's, life happens, things break, and they did. I had a washing machine to break. We had a hurricane come through. We had to fix things, and all that adds up. So once you figure out what your basic emergency fund is, work with your financial advisor, and you're going to want to save a little bit more than that, depending on what you want to do, what you wrote down on your list of your dreams that you want to accomplish when you're on sabbatical. So you're going to need a little bit more money, and start thinking about that sooner than later. If you have a very good financial advisor and you've got a good circle of friends, you'll also want to be comfortable enough to start talking, have them ask you things that you might not be considering, like how are you going to pay for your health care coverage during this period of time, things like that. So start talking about it and sharing it with your close knit group and people that you trust. And so once you have that kind of built up, you'd be amazed how free you feel. You may not want to take the sabbatical immediately, but you've got it there, and you know that when something happens, you are ready for it. And so actually, when I lost my job, yes, it was, losing a job is a big deal, and I'm not going to, negate the feelings that we all go through, and we will go through all those feelings. But I was actually a little excited because I had been preparing for something like this happen, that I just wasn't going to go into survival mode. I was going to go into a thriving mode, and that meant the world to me. So the third thing I would advise, and this is something that I did that helped me a ton, is I had already wrote out a little plan of if something happened and I lost my job, how would I spend like the first month? And I really encourage you to do this. So what I had already written down in my little timeline is I allowed myself the first week after a job loss to just wallow in whatever sorrow there was. That's when you get out the crying, the whining, the anger, the fear. Just allow yourself to do that for a week. But once that week is up, that's it. It's time to move on, because you're going to have to spend some time probably tackling some administrative stuff. You've got to let your financial advisor know. You've got to figure out how you want to divvy out your funds. You've got to maybe take care of some healthcare type administrative paperwork. And so you want to, be refreshed and handle that appropriately for the next couple of weeks. And then the next thing I did is I set up a very loose daily schedule, okay? I didn't want to just sit around and let life happen to me. I did have a basic daily schedule that I wanted to follow. And, one of the things that was on my big dream list that I've always wanted to do is I wanted to wake up naturally. I didn't want to wake up to the sound of an alarm clock. I have worked very hard my whole life. I have worked in environments where I've had to get up very early in the mornings, and the idea of just waking up naturally sounded wonderful to me. So you be surprised when you do your dreaming and you make your dream list. You're going to be surprised at what you want to do, and you want to have time to try it out. So anyway, I found that naturally I was waking up between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. I was not sleeping all during the day, but that was just wonderful for me. And so I knew that I'd probably be up by 7. I also have 2 little beagles that need to go outside, and they need to get outside in the mornings by a certain time. So my mornings were pretty set once I got up. Like I said, my biggest goal was a wellness goal. So that meant that I was doing some type of physical workout. So my mornings pretty much from 7 to 10 were blocked out with some morning devotion and some physical fitness, shower, breakfast, all of that, get ready. And you'd be surprised if you just get something on the books, get something scheduled, and keep yourself busy. It's going to help a lot. So I do encourage you to make some sort of loose daily schedule. You don't have to plan everything. You don't have to plan every minute, but have some idea of how you want to spend your days. The next thing I would suggest is going into my second month of sabbatical. I took an online goal setting class. It was combining goal setting with journaling. You guys know I'm a big journaler. That's what this whole channel is about, is handwriting and journaling and all of those types of things. And this class was for me to help me look at the next 12 to 18 months. And we set up 10 goals. And then we learned how to journal and how to break those goals into small steps, things to look at quarterly, things to look at monthly, things to look at weekly, and things to look at daily. This is not a new concept. We've all heard this or done this or taken classes on this, but I just wanted a refresher and someone to kind of keep me accountable for that class. So I did set up some goals for the next 12 months to 18 months. And that focus was amazing. So I really suggest that you have some kind of goals that you want to accomplish during your sabbatical and have some type of plan to get going on those. Now, I'm going to share with you that for the first 5 months, I didn't even really worry about looking for a job. I was really focused on my dream list and my goals, and I just had a ball. I went on some trips. I visited family. I enjoyed the holidays. I love the holidays, and I just wanted to just have a great time. I love hosting. We started hosting Thanksgiving again after years of not being able to do it. I love having people at the house, hospitality. That's just my thing. And I really just wanted to enjoy that whole season. Now, once the holidays were over, I intentionally set up the next 6 months of my sabbatical to be focused on what I'm going to do next. I'm still enjoying my sabbatical. I've worked in my wellness activities, which are very important to me. And I've also started to work in some other things that I wanted to do during this time. But I also shifted focus and started thinking more about what am I going to do when this is all over? And some of the things that I will share with you that helped, because this is, I have found it's a little difficult to find a job in this environment right now. You know, if you've really got to know a lot of people. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I think that might help you get through this period. Number one is build your network. Now, I had a great network, but I built it even more. A couple years ago, I had hired an executive coach, and one of the best pieces of advice they gave me, I'm going to share with you. They were basically saying, pretend you are the CEO of your life. You don't really have to pretend, because you are the CEO of your life. That includes more than just your job. And think about who would be on the board of your life. And that can be anyone from your accountant, your doctor, your trainer, your hairdresser. You think about all of those things, and who would you want on the board of your life? And I had done that exercise back then and started to really build those relationships, if you will. So if you don't have a good network already, I would suggest you start putting one together. If you do have a good network, start working with them and building those relationships even more. And I have found from just hanging out with those people and spending time with those people, I have a mentor who has been the most encouraging person and has kept me going and has reminded me of all that I've accomplished. Because you will have some days when you're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And those people will keep you going. So I definitely have a mentor in my life. I have an excellent financial advisor, and I have an excellent accountant and they have given me lots of advice, even in other areas, not just this how to manage your money. And believe it or not, I would even include probably my hairdresser, we have absolutely nothing in common, but she does try to keep my hair looking nice for my well-being. And she is a small business owner, and I have been able to watch and learn from her all the new things that are happening in the small business world, and especially around like tech and how they're using tech to grow small businesses. It's very interesting. So I kind of have her as one of my small business people because one of the things I'm interested in is small businesses and how they grow. I really encourage you to try to learn something new during this time. Now, this comes easy for me because I have been a lifelong learner, and there were tons of things I wanted to play with and learn and build a skill in. So that was not a problem for me at all. In fact, I probably went overboard and, became overwhelmed with too many things. Those of you that have followed me for a while, I didn't do YouTube videos I took a long break. It was a couple of years. One of the things on my list was to get back into YouTube. But what you don't know is I wanted to be able to do everything with my phone. So all these videos I've been sharing with you this year, they're all filmed on my phone. They're all edited on my phone. They're all published and uploaded on my phone. And even the thumbnails are on my phone. Now, probably I could buy a lot of equipment and learn some other things and make these a lot better. But it was a goal of mine to just figure out how to do it with the phone. I wanted to know how to do that. And all throughout the year, I've been learning all kinds of new things around this technology. My main career for the longest time, for the past 10 years, has been on the back end of digital media. And my strengths are really with paid advertising, that type of, and all the tech and everything that goes on behind the scenes. But I love making content. It's just something I've always enjoyed. You guys have been wonderful. I don't have like the biggest following in the world, but those of you that follow me, you send me the nicest DMs and give me so much great feedback and so much encouragement. So this year, if you haven't noticed, in addition to doing everything on the phone, I have taken your feedback to make all my videos, and I'm using the whole year to collect data. After this year, I will make a decision on where I want to go next with Paper Tam's videos and content. So that's what's been happening in terms of continuous learning. Is I want to continue to learn how to storytell and make content because that's where my passion is. Even though I'm really good at the behind the scenes stuff, this has been a lot of fun for me. Okay, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. I realize I'm going to pause here for the people that are like, okay, Tammy, great. You saved all this money and you're able to do all this stuff. I lost my job and I didn't save all, and I didn't plan. And, what do I do in this situation? You can still turn this around. I'm going to share a few things with you that might help. I still think you should build your network. I still think you should be learning something new and trying new things and trying to make the most of this break, however you want to define it, whether it's wanted or not. Another thing that I did that I found very helpful is I did what's called decluttering my life and soul. That's a fancy way of saying I basically went through my entire house and started decluttering. But I didn't just pack it all up and take it to Goodwill. Okay, another thing I wanted to learn is how there's so many different ways that people are making money now. It's amazing how these people are starting new businesses, and I just kind of wanted to get a peek inside there and see what they were doing. So I opened up an eBay store. It's very easy. I did it on my phone, and I had, in part of my decluttering, I had some things that I knew that people wanted. For instance, I still had all of my 1970s Barbie stuff. It was in good condition. And at first I was going to put it all on Facebook Marketplace and just sell it all for a lump sum. And then I started to look on eBay and I started seeing how people were taking apart things. Like I had the 1970s dream house, and people were selling the parts. I had shared a little bit about this on my Instagram stories, and I even had people reach out to me and give me even better tips. So I disassembled that Barbie dream house as part of my decluttering, and I sold over $1,000 worth of just those parts on eBay. So all this time, I'm trying to make money as I'm going. Yes, it's not a full-time big executive career, but I'm trying to get in there and learn how people are starting to make money now. So I did eBay. I also did Facebook Marketplace, and I made a few $1,000s just doing that, and I added it right into my sabbatical fund. So you'll be surprised. If you want to take this time to declutter, don't just take it all to Goodwill. Look at it, do some research, look on eBay, look on Facebook Marketplace, learn that technology and make yourself a few bucks at the same time. I've also gotten back into growing paper tams in other ways, other than just the content, which I love. I also enjoy teaching classes and workshops. So I've built classes, I've taught some classes, and just really tried to, anytime I learn something, I try to make a little money off of it, if that makes sense. And doing all that has actually helped me better align my skills and the things that I want to do in this next era, and give me a better, give me some guidance on where I want to go in this next phase of life. So I really encourage you, if you've got some time off, to try to do something like that. Try to make the most of it. Where am I now? Well, here we are back in August. It's been a full year almost, and I've already got the rest of the year planned out. Something I didn't even think I'd be doing, but the rest of the year is planned out, and as that comes to fruition, I may share what's going on there. But as far as paper tams goes, and those of you that watch my videos, my goal is to continue to make videos until the end of this year and take all that data and figure out what I'm going to do. Am I going to level up some equipment and sound and continue to make videos in 2026, or am I going to go on to Patreon, what have you? But I'll be making those decisions in fourth quarter. I hope this video was helpful. And if you're young and there's no sabbatical in your future right now, your near future, I'm hoping this shares with you the importance of saving, getting smart with your finances, being a bon vivant on a budget, and building your network, and how important that is. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me or leave them in the comments, and I will try to address them. Anyway, I'll be back to making my regular paper tams videos next week. Bye.